Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Hope everyone's having a great October season. I'm back once again for another movie review, and for tonight's review, I'm going to be talking about a movie that is actually one of my personal favorite horror films. I actually watch it every year during Halloween. You know, all those, during October, there's always those movies that you watch every year, and it's kind of like a tradition. This is definitely one of those movies. This movie was released in 1999. And it was directed by Tim Burton, and it stars Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci. And that movie is Sleepy Hollow. And like I said, I've been watching this movie for years. It came out in 1999, and I believe I saw it in 2000, I think, maybe, with my cousin. And it's always just been one of my top favorite films. I always love to watch it and revisit it. This was actually the first movie that I ever saw that was directed by Tim Burton, I believe, and it really left an impression on me because, like every Tim Burton film, it combines both darkness and beauty, which is something that I believe Tim Burton is a master at. So this was the first time I ever saw a movie that was quite like that. This was also the first film that I think I saw Johnny Depp in, so it was an introduction to him. But as everybody knows, Sleepy Hollow is, of course, a town from the short story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. And basically, in the short story, it's about Ichabod Crane, who's a school teacher, goes to Sleepy Hollow and learns a legend about the Headless Horseman. And, of course, then he is killed by it. Only this time, Tim Burton takes that story and takes it up to a whole other level. There's a lot of changes to it. It doesn't really follow the original story a lot. There's a quick scene in it, which I'll get to in a second. But basically, it's set in 1799, and Ichabod Crane plays he's a constable or a police officer, and from New York, and he is told by his superiors that he must go to Sleepy Hollow to invest murder. One thing that's really cool is that his main superior was played by Christopher Lee, which I thought was pretty cool to see him in the movie. See him in this movie. It's a really short film, and basically he is sent there to investigate murders that are going on in Sleepy Hollow. He, of course, he believes that, it's just a normal murderer, nothing really, crazy, just a killer of flesh and blood, as he puts it. One thing that he does is that he's very into anatomy. And, he's into doing, like anatomy and things like that. And back in that time, stuff like that was considered tribal. They didn't, when somebody died, they didn't, lay the body down on a table and perform autopsies on them. So basically his methods were sort of looked down upon in a way. But, yeah, so he has a lot of his own instruments. Ichabod himself, just like in the original story, he's kind of a tall, thin man, kind of, scared of his own shadow type of way, kind of, basically scared of everything, which is kind of weird considering the fact that he works with dead bodies and he's a police detective, which is kind of funny. But he's basically sent to Sleepy Hollow, and the town itself is a very dark, rundown place. Like I said, it's set in 1799. So it's pretty much a poor town. There's a graveyard and, sheep that are there, and it's pretty much an old farming town. All the houses are made out of wood and brick and things like that. The only house that is really like a big house is actually run by the sort of mayor of Sleepy Hollow. Baltus Van Tassel is his name, and he's pretty much just, the banker. He's pretty much everything. And he's the only person that's really prospered in Sleepy Hollow. And so Ichabod goes to him, and they pretty much tell him the story. Christina Ricci actually plays his daughter, Katrina Van Tassel. And yeah, she plays she's very, you can tell she's a lot stronger than Ichabod, and you can also tell that she has some secrets that she's not really telling. But of course, at one point, all the main men that are sort of like the superior heads of Sleepy Hollow get Ichabod, tell him the story of, how the Headless Horseman becomes, how the Hessian becomes the Headless Horseman, which is basically he gets his head chopped off during an unnamed battle in the Civil War. And one thing is that he's actually played by Christopher Walken, which I actually thought was pretty cool. This was the first movie I saw Christopher Walken in, so I really didn't know who he was until after I saw this movie. And yeah, there's a picture of him right here. He's got like really sharp fangs and that. He looks really demented, and he basically becomes the Headless Horseman. So as you know, the story goes on, a murder happens, and Ichabod, you know, he's introduced to the son of the person who was murdered, young Mazbiff, as they called him. The person's last name is Mazbiff, and you know, the little boy that's in it, he's like 11 or 12, I believe, and he doesn't have a first name. They just call him by his last name. That was the last name of his father. And you know, as I said, Ichabod sort of like starts watching over him because he really doesn't have anybody else. You know, his mother died a while back, and now his father's dead. So Ichabod is sort of like watching over him, and you know, while he's looking up at the bodies, he finds out certain things. He finds out that one of the women that were murdered actually had a baby, and you know, nobody was aware of this except for one of the men that one of the townsmen who also ends up getting murdered. And when that happens, that's when Ichabod first discovers the Headless Horseman and finds out that he is real. So basically the whole film is him trying to discover, you know, how to stop him. And it's really, yeah, he goes into the western woods, as they called it, with the boy, and he finds this woman that's a witch. And she tells him to go find a place called the Tree of the Dead, which they do, and it's basically a gateway between the Headless Horseman coming out from hell and then entering the real world. He also finds the skeleton of the Headless Horseman, and he finds out that the head is gone and that somebody took it, and he ends up finding out that the Horseman does not kill at random. His victims are actually chosen by someone who controlled him. And basically the whole film is him basically trying to figure out, you know, who is behind bringing the Horseman back to life. And like I said, it's really a great, fun movie. When I was younger, this movie really did creep me out a lot. There's a lot of good creepy moments in it. Not so much right now. It's more of just a fun movie. But yeah, of course, there's so much dark imagery in this movie. A lot of great moments, like I said, especially the scene when Ichabod goes and finds the witch, and you know, she reveals herself at one scene, who tells him about, you know, the Tree of the Dead. And like I said, really, really great movie. Of course, Tim Burton is a master of, you know, dark imagery and, you know, bringing dark and beautiful ones together. And it really shows, including the scenes where when Ichabod, he passes out, because he passes out like 4 or 5 times in this movie because he can't handle blood for some reason. So he passes out, and he's very sensitive, and when he does, he has dreams about his mother. And she's sort of like in this sort of, you know, swooping around, sort of dancing with leaves and things falling around her, and it's really beautiful. But yeah, like I said, I would highly recommend checking out Sleepy Hollow. It's a really great movie, a really great adaptation of the story. Like I said, it doesn't really follow the story, except for there's one scene where Ichabod is actually going across this bridge, and the Headless Horseman supposedly comes after him and hits him in the head with a jack-o'-lantern, and you find out later it's actually just a group of guys pulling a prank on him. But yeah, really, really great film. I really like this edition too. It has a original cover of it right here, and then it changes to the scene of the Headless Horseman. I really love these slip cases with a holographic cover. I have this these type of covers in with Alien and Independence Day. I have those too. But yeah, so there's the actual cover, which I'm sure you can get it now. You can get the movie on Blu-ray as well. And if you can get this, then I definitely recommend picking this movie up. It's really great. If you're a fan of Tim Burton and if you're a fan of his style, then this is one movie I would definitely recommend. This was his first true horror film, actually. He's never really done a horror film before, so when he did it, you know, it was really good. It was also produced by Francis Ford Coppola, which was also pretty good. Pretty cool to know that he did that. But yeah, and there's a lot of well-known actors in this movie that I'm sure everybody will recognize, but like I said, really, really great movie. I highly recommend it. I watch it every year, and it's really just one of those films that you just need to check out. But anyway, guys, that is my review for Sleepy Hollow. Hope everybody enjoyed it. Feel free to like this, you know, comment, subscribe, you know, and if you've seen Sleepy Hollow, definitely let me know what you think about it. You know, just leave a comment down below. But anyway, guys, hope everybody's having and a good October season. I'm actually enjoying it. I just finished watching this movie for a nice big bag of candy. I'm gonna get cavities. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.